This seems wondrous in the eyes of the remnants of the Jewish people, that such a thing could one day happen. That life in Israel will be so normal that old people are going to walk around in the streets and little kids. There won't be danger, and it'll be just okay to have a regular life. And note in this verse, what are the little kids doing? They're not, I don't know, learning Torah or anything. They're playing games. What are the old people doing? I don't know, they're not teaching Torah. They're walking around with sticks and things like this. They're just hanging out. And what is this verse? What are these verses saying? It's a prophecy that one day in Israel there'll be regular life. Regular life. People will be hanging out. And I know that people say, whoa, is this really such a big deal? But if you think about it, that for generations, for hundreds of years, life in Israel was, hanging on by a thread. People didn't have enough money. They needed donations from outside. There was all kinds of dangers and threats. It was prohibited to come many times. So here is a prophecy that came true. Every time you see an old person in the streets of Jerusalem or little kids playing, that's a prophecy that literally came true. So we have a prayer that came true and a prophecy that came true. And this is what we celebrate here in Israel on Yom HaAtzmaut. Many countries have an Independence Day, but in Israel, it's a religious holiday because we're celebrating that our prayers came true, to have a regular state, to live in a way that we could just have a regular life and as much as possible not have other people bothering us and persecuting us and chasing us. Just have a regular life where people could play outside and hang out. That we consider miraculous, and therefore it's a religious holiday. It's interesting, though, that these things are exactly what are very complicated now under the current regulations with the COVID. In Israel, we like to call it Corona instead, where kids can't really play in the street the way they're used to. Old people certainly can't walk around in the street the way they were used to. And weddings can't take place either. I wonder if we could, in Yom HaAtzmaut in Israel, really it's a day to be able to appreciate that this normal life that we take for granted, of just being able to hang out and just live our lives in a nice, pleasant way, that's a special gift from God. And it could be that maybe part of what we're going to be thinking about as this whole plague situation comes to a close one day, Bezrat Hashem very soon, with God's help, is that we'll also be able to appreciate all of these things much more. The kids playing in the street, the old people walking around, people getting married. The Rambam writes, Maimonides, when he talks about messianic times, he says in the times of the Mashiach, that nothing will really change in nature. There'll still be bugs, and there'll still be, cats chasing mice, and people still have to wake up in the morning, people still have to go to work and have a job. The fundamental thing, Maimonides says, the Rambam says, that will change is people's attitudes. And people will just be focused on the important things in life, working on themselves, being good people, instead of chasing material things. He writes, there won't be jealousy so much, there won't be so much competition. There'll be so many things available. People say, you know what, we're fine, we don't have to go so crazy. And I wonder, how could such a thing happen? How does a mental change like this happen? And we know that in history, when there's a big change in the world, then people's attitudes change as well. We knew that hundreds of years ago it was normative to have slavery in the world. Now it's considered insane. Whether there was, I don't know, what was it, in the 1920s? There was a whole issue in America whether women should have the right to vote. Of course, now it seems insane to even be discussing these things. Or the racial segregation laws. You look back, it's insane that anyone even thought that made any sense. Mental changes happen over time. And I hope that also this mental change that we're undergoing, when we're at home and we learn to appreciate the things that are actually important and actually significant, just like what Yom HaAtzmaut celebrates in Israel, perhaps in the entire world, people are going to be able to appreciate more how special it is to be able to have children playing in the streets, old people walking around freely, and young people getting married. Also old people, whoever wants to get married gets married. And we could appreciate that, and maybe that'll bring us a step closer to Messianic times. All right, everybody have a happy HaAtzmaut. Stay safe and healthy, and I miss you all, and it'll be lovely to hear from you. If you want to reach out and contact me on WhatsApp, Rabbi Asher has my number. All right, see you all later. Bye-bye.